Did President Trump humiliate Mexico's president in a confrontational phone call behind closed doors? Well, the Associated Press reports that Trump warned he might send U.S. troops into Mexico, reportedly telling President Enrique Peña Nieto, quote, "You have a bunch of bad hombres down there. You aren't doing enough to stop them. I think your military is scared. Our military isn't. So I just might send them down to take care of it." Now, just a short time ago, a senior official told NBC News those comments were lighthearted and that the president never threatened to send in the military. President Peña Nieto's spokesperson denied to the AP that the call was in any way threatening. Joining me now, Democratic Senator Catherine Cortez Masto of Nevada, the nation's first Latina senator. New to Congress, she took over former Democratic leader Harry Reid's seat. Good to see you. Thanks so much for coming on the program.
Thank you, Chris.
What do you make of this back and forth and the fact that now what the White House is saying is that there was a lighthearted reference to bad hombres on this phone call?
Chris, it was offensive. It was offensive to all Mexican Americans across this country. And listen, when he's talking about bad hombres, he's talking about my family. My grandfather immigrated from Mexico and served in our U.S. military and was proud to do so. Really, the only bad hombre in this scenario is the one who's sitting in the White House.
So do you think that he was talking about immigrants and not about drug dealers and cartels?
No, it's clear. It's the same rhetoric that we saw on the campaign trail. It's this denigration of Mexicans and Mexican Americans, calling them all out criminals and rapists. It has continued, and it needs to stop.
You announced this week that you are going to co-sponsor legislation, that you are co-sponsoring legislation to rescind President Trump's executive order on immigration. And according to Pew Research, Nevada, your state, has the highest percentage, 7.6% of unauthorized immigrants. Tell me a little bit about what you're hearing from your constituents and why you decided to do this.
Well, first of all, you have to understand the people we are talking about are not criminals and rapists. They are people living in our community. I've met with them. They have names, faces. They're working hard. They came here for the same reason that my grandfather came here, to work hard, play by the rules, get ahead, make sure their kids have more than what they may have started with. And there's nothing wrong with that. And more importantly, they contribute to our economy. That's why the U.S. Chambers and the chambers locally support them. That's why businesses in Nevada support passing comprehensive immigration reform. So what I am hearing is this same fight and denigration of individuals who just want the opportunity to have the American dream. And let me just tell you, President Trump's actions to build walls, divide people, and his words have consequences. Just 2 days ago, the Mexican consulate office in Las Vegas, a swastika was graffitied on it. So what we are seeing is playing out, and people, rightfully so, are scared because instead of uniting the country, which is what our president should be doing, he's continuing this divisive rhetoric.
What he has said about building the wall and about new immigration on our own borders is very similar to what he has said about his decision to ban immigration from those 7 Muslim majority countries. He says it's a matter of national security, and sometimes multiple times a day from this president. And there's one argument that the Republicans in the White House would make, which is that he's keeping the promises and he's showing in a very specific way to the people who voted for him and to the American people this is not business as usual. On the other hand, it was interesting to hear Cory Booker last night talking about fatigue, that there's just so many things coming at the opposition that it's hard, whether you're a member of Congress or you're somebody who's out on the streets marching, to know where to focus your energy and your attention. What do you think about what's been going on Capitol Hill, which is so unlike anything we've seen?
Well, this is obviously unusual, but let me just say this. I think we have to remain vigilant. And yes, we are going to have to be strategic. We'll have to pick our battles, but that doesn't mean we don't stop fighting. There are so many issues that are happening that are going to impact our everyday lives, whether it's immigration or defunding Planned Parenthood or women's health care, you name it. These are going to be issues that are important for so many people across the country. And we need to make sure that we are using our voices and we are out there and we're fighting and holding this administration accountable. And that starts with the cabinet members that we see that are coming through now. Listen, I have been supportive of some of them, and some of them I've been very clear I cannot support because they lack experience or because of their previous background. And I've looked at each one on a case-by-case basis. And part of that is doing my job as United States Senator.
One of the things things that
I'm going to continue to do so.
Yeah, one of the things we talked about a little earlier this morning was how it's looking maybe 50-50 for Betsy DeVos, but there's also some things going on behind the scenes, including with unions. What are you hearing on the Hill from your colleagues? Do you think that there's a chance that Betsy DeVos doesn't get confirmed?
Well, I will tell you this. The concern we have and why you see playing out is we're using every tool we can to shine a light on these individuals, including Betsy, because they are going to be, and Betsy will be in a position to have an impact on education policy across this country. And you can see from the questioning already that she has no knowledge of education policy. She has spent a decade of diverting public money away from public schools. And so I think instead of fast-tracking these individuals is what the Republicans are trying to do. We are trying to say, let's take our due diligence, let's shine a light, let's make sure we know who these individuals are.
Catherine Cortez Masto, Senator from Nevada, Harry Reid's old seat. Thank you so much.